Marketing your business for sale is one of the most nerve-wracking processes that any entrepreneur will go through. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the best ways to preserve confidentiality and increase and get the maximum price for your business using an M&A advisor to help you negotiate and drive the most value from a potential buyer. So one of the biggest things that I often get asked is, how are you going to keep the sale of my business confidential? How are you going to find buyers? And the funny thing is, and what most people don't understand is, a lot of finding buyers is actually not the hard part. So typically, when we put a business out for sale, we can get upwards of 100 inquiries from buyers. And you might be wondering, who are these people? Like, who are so interested in buying businesses? And it can range greatly from institutions that we call financial buyers. So these are private equity funds or search funds is another term. Basically, individuals who have raised money for the purpose of buying a business to drive investment and returns to its investors. So that's your financial buyer. Typically, those buyers have a very strict price they're going to pay for your business because they have to hit some rate of return. Now, the second group of buyers are going to be corporate professionals or entrepreneurs who are looking to buy a business to grow it or to change their lifestyle up. So these entrepreneurial buyers are really looking for opportunities where either they can grow it or change their lifestyle. So within that group, there's kind of more of a lifestyle group that are sick of working for somebody else. They want to control their schedule and run a business that they're more passionate about. And then there's another group that is serial entrepreneurs or people that have bought businesses and grown them and sold them and done that type of thing. Those buyers are kind of range, but they're going to typically be a little bit more limited on financing. So they're not going to have as much funds to invest like that other group I mentioned, the private equity group. So the deal structuring is sometimes a little more creative. There may be a bit more seller financing, and we have a video on that that I encourage you to watch, where you as the owner help them lend some of the purchase price to them. There might be more earnouts involved. So more deal structuring involved in that transaction. Now, our last group are the big buyers. So the ones that are going to spend the top dollar, and that's going to be a strategic buyer, which we define as a buyer that's within your industry that has some sort of strategic way of, if they were to purchase your business, a way of increasing the margins of your business or growing it. One of the classic examples is, let's say you're a smaller operator in a regulated industry, a large, bigger buyer wants to buy you to access your market, which you currently have control over. So they can go, if I bought your business, I can get rid of the duplicate accounting costs, the legal costs. I already have those in-house. Maybe they already have a marketing team, and I can really grow and cross-sell your services into my business. So while everybody else may only be able to pay this price, we can actually pay quite a bit higher because in a year or two, it's going to seem really cheap. So those are your best typical buyers to get the most value. Now, our process of marketing to these buyers depends on who we think is ultimately going to fit. So we're going to talk to you, figure out who that buyer persona, so of those three buckets, who's the best fit for your business. And then our marketing approach is going to be directed at that specific buyer. So we're going to use, typically, we'll look in your industry, is there a strategic buyer? We'll do some deep digging and research to find all the possible strategic buyers that fit for your business, and also any financial buyers, so these private equity groups who have either acquired a business in your space already or are looking to buy a big business in your industry already. And they usually make that a public mandate. We have access to databases where we can pull these type of buyers. And then we also have a 10,000 plus email list of buyers that are looking for opportunities. And our approach is pretty simple. First, we approach the strategic buyers because they're going to be paying the top dollar, and the financial buyers. And basically, we delay what information we're going to give them. So we get them to sign a non-disclosure agreement. It's a legal agreement, an NDA. You've probably heard about these about celebrities trying to keep secrets. Well, we use them a lot in our business, and that legally ties them to not be able to share anything about your business. Now, you can't stop bad actors from doing things, but typically we're going to vet and make sure that people are going to abide by the rules of that NDA. We then give them access to what's called a data room, which may contain financials about your business and different information. We'll often film an interview with you that will go in there so they can get all of their preliminary questions answered. And basically, as the buyer expresses more interest and they get more qualified, so we see financing, we get them to put an offer in, they're on the same page for price and terms, we'll give them more and more information along the way until they have full access to the data room. And that's usually limited to only a couple of buyers. And then we say, hey, you need to give us your best possible offer by this date to drive a little bit of FOMO between those buyers so that the top dollar is going to be submitted in, the submit your best and final offer to us. And then we'll negotiate with those, ultimately accept it, and then work with you on closing the deal. But typically it's this tiered approach where we're reaching out and doing a lot of research with you so you understand who we're targeting and making sure that the best possible buyer for your business who's going to pay the top dollar is actually getting access and isn't going to get missed in our initial marketing outreach. So that is typically how we market a business for sale.